So I'm used to dancing fast. He was going really slow. I was about to say.
You want to do something like catch your breath?
No. So, what we would like to do now is to share the history of the drums, because I think that that's very important. We need to be able to understand what each drum is and where it came from. Because back in the day, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have that. And what we had was that drum. And the drum was how we gave the message, sent the message, how we communicated from village to village, from people to people, how we could be able to tell people, look, we're gonna have a party, yeah, right? Or we have a wedding, or we're under attack. Let's go. It's time to fight. Get your troops, right? Something's going on. So we want to be able to explain how and the set and where and what's going on. So Brother Kamal, can you explain that to me?
Okay, the first drum I was playing, this is called the djembe. This is the most popular African drum in the world. It's pretty well known. It's carved from one piece of wood. Okay, different types of wood. Some woods are more dense than others. This one's got a little weight to it. And forgive me because, believe it or not, I turned 70 on the 12th. Initially, the skin was antelope. Antelope started becoming scarce, so they switched to goat. Very plentiful in Africa, very plentiful in the Caribbean. Eat a lot of goat. This particular drum, the skin is attached to the drum through a string network of rope. It used to be other strips of skin back in the day. Obviously, you know, through evolution of the djembe, this is rope. It's more like parachute rope because it can take high tension, high stress. There's a lot of tension on this drum.
I'm going to slide in. It's also 3 rings. So these are metal rings that the rope is tied to that allows the goat skin to be tightened, right? And what he just explained is sometimes it's only 2 rings. But the reason why we have sometimes 3 rings is because
it maintains the tension. It simply locks it in place almost in like the shape of an S. Once the drum is tightened and the skin is pulled and set, it doesn't loosen up until the skin breaks.
And what he means by that is, and I'm not a drummer, I'm a dancer, but you hear that? The tightness is what allowed that that high tone is what we need to be able to talk to that village, to that village, to that village, all the way over there, right? And sometimes if you don't have that 3rd ring to be able to keep it tight, you have to put it in front of the heat. Because the heat is what stretches the skin to make it then be tight and ready. So sometimes if you see some drummers having a drum in front of a heat, that's what now you know they're trying to tighten the skin so they can have that high tone, right? And as you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and show you again. It is hollowed out, right? It's hollowed out, okay? But the next drum.
Okay, this drum is called songba, like S-O-N-G-B-A-N. It's from a family of drums, and typically drums come in families. That's an African thing, of course. This particular drum is from a set of 3. This is the middle one, it's called a samba. The larger drum is called the dum-dum or dum-dum ba. The smaller one is called the kinkini. So obviously that would, and typically, quite often in African drumology, if you will, the main drum, the largest drum, is not the father, it's the mama. The mama dictates the drum. Quite often, even in like certain rhythms in Africa and Cuba, there's a set of drums called bata. Big drum iya, middle drum itotele, small drum okonkolo. The iya is mama. The middle drum is itotele. That's the father. This conversation's going on here. Father doesn't get to talk until mama gives him permission.
Period. Yes.
static pattern that just because children like this.
Right.
Okay, and basically the skins, this is a hollow drum. It has two skins. The skins on these drums are typically calf. They're thicker than the goat because you're hitting it with a stick. And tone, muffle town. This is known, what they call it, a generic term for it, talking drum. In Senegal, it's called tama. There's another name for it in Nigeria. Their drums are a little bit bigger. Maybe some folks from Nigeria here. But anyway, once again, it's a double-headed drum. It's called a talking drum because it's tonal. It has a tonal quality to it. And when I say that, you can change the tone of the drum on the fly. Squash of the pumpkin grows in the ground. When you harvest them, cut off the top, hollow it out, seeds inside, almost look like pumpkin seeds. And also has a material in it that looks like sawdust. Clean it out, so you get a tone on it. Attach a network of beads. These can be plastic, glass, wood. They can be cowrie shells sometimes. And that's what gives you the sound. This particular shaker is fiberglass. Modern day shaker day. Holds up a little bit better. But same principle. How do you play the shaker day?
And then we can go back to our seats. So I want to explain one of the dance that is dedicated to the slavery as we were being enslaved. The actual time when we were being captured and when we were being processioned onto the ships. And when we said, some of us, not all, oh no, I'm not going. And we said, I'm gonna fight. Okay, so one of the dances as we were shackled is called Juneteenth. And that's when we were